All right, welcome to the Coaches Show. With us today, we're on the road, so we got Dr. McCharen and Mr. Reid to join us. And so first, before we get into the last week's game and anything like that, let's hear from Dr. McCharen and see how things are going at the district level. And we want to. This year, our theme. I told the students in my class, we're trying to incorporate the entire district in what we do. So that's why we went to Westfall last week, and then we're going to try to start going to some more schools later down the road. So just kind of recap how things are going around the school district and pretty much here in Choctaw.
Sure. Well, things are going great in Choctaw and Como Park Public Schools. We're off to a great start. This is sixth week of the school year, so a lot of instruction is going on, a lot of great activities. Fall is a great time of year. Again, Mr. Bass talked about the theme of unity in the district, which is certainly something that we encourage, that we advocate. As you know, we have 6 elementary schools in the district, and all of them are Yellow Jackets. Our 2 middle schools are Yellow Jackets, so from the time you enter pre-K through 12th grade, you are a Choctaw Yellow Jacket in this school district. And so we certainly have a district that's very popular right now. We have a lot of people that are moving into Choctaw and Como Park School District because of the excellence of not only academics, but all of our extracurricular activities, our fine arts program, our athletic programs, ROTC, FFA, student council. We have so many things that our students participate in that Choctaw and Como Park is just a great place to be right now. So the district is doing well. Homecoming week is always a fun week for the students and the community. So things are going great in Choctaw and Como Park.
Nice. All right. So let's. I was going to ask Mr. Reid a quick question since just recently was the high school principal. How things are different homecoming week up here versus at the school for you.
Oh, I sleep a lot better, I promise you. Yeah, right. I enjoy Michael James waking up probably with nightmares and me just being able to stay at my house alone, sleeping all through the night and not having to worry about a thing.
Nice. Okay, so that's the main difference. So if you want to know the 2 levels, this is where you want to be. All right, so let's get back to football. Last week, Lawton Ike, Coach, talk us through what went on in that, especially the first half was just total dominance. And let's take us through the game.
Yeah, as you know from previous shows, our offense tries to major in explosive plays, and we define those as 20 or more yards through the air, 15-yard runs. And the statistics will show you that the number one indicator of winning games now is explosive plays. If you have more, you have 81% chance of winning. If you have more turnovers, you have an 80%. If you have both, you have less turnovers and more explosive plays, 99%. Which is pretty good odds, and so that's something we've really tried to focus on in this offseason is be explosive offensively, and have an attacking style, and so we've been able to develop around an offense that revolves around that, and so we always want to start fast, we always want to push the ball, push the limits, and we felt like we were able to do that in the first half. I was pretty pleased with our kids. We're able to go up 50-7 at halftime, which is pretty comfortable, for us, and able to do that. But you can't do that without executing. I thought a lot of guys played really well on the offensive side of the ball. We thought, Thad Williams, our quarterback, was absolutely electric. On Thursday, finished with almost 360 yards and a half. Had 6 total touchdowns, 5 through the air, 1 running, and then had 2 2-point conversions. And it always starts at that position. And when that guy can be on like we were, that helps. We had 0 drops from our receiving core. You had guys like Chase Jackson with 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Gabe Johnson had a big night. Day-Days ran the ball really, really well. Kate Sanford had a touchdown in the first half, and Wes Ziegler caught a couple pretty big passes for us. So, when you're able to do that and execute offensively, it helps. On the defense side of the ball, we struggled. I wouldn't say struggle, but maybe didn't play it as well as we wanted to early. The kids responded. We're able to shut them down. I thought our secondary played extremely well up front on the defensive line. We got better as the game went on, and I think our linebacking core with Jeff Robertson did really well.
Yeah. So we got PC North homecoming night and let's talk a little bit about preparing for that group.
Yeah, absolutely. PC North, probably the most athletic team that we'll face all year. They're extremely athletic. They're extremely deep. They're very well coached. Coach Laverty and his staff do a great job of preparing their kids, and they have, a lot of team speed, and size. And so they're a really good opponent. A year ago they're, 8-3 in 6A1. They're ranked really high in 6A1 right now with a lot of guys back. They have a really good quarterback, really good receivers, and then they're very skilled. Keys to that game will be, keys like most games, if we can, execute offensively, if we feel like we can get some stops on defense, win the turnover battle, then we think we have a good chance of winning. If we play sloppy, don't do that, then we could be in a ball game and struggle. But, we look forward to a great game on Friday. And as you mentioned earlier, it's homecoming week, which is always exciting. Our fans are awesome. We'll pack the place out. PC North is well supported as well, so it should be a really, really fun game Friday.
All right. So I'll ask our co-hosts over there, anything that you've noticed about maybe from this season early on compared to potential seasons in the past that you've been around, like Dr. McCharen? Anything different with this team versus some other teams?
The enthusiasm is outstanding. The community is energized. Coach Corbin and his staff have done an absolutely tremendous job to motivate the entire school, the entire school district, the entire community. Kids are excited. You go all over the towns of Choctaw and Nakoma Park. They're talking Choctaw Yellow Jacket football. So certainly the enthusiasm, the potential of this team has energized everybody. So you feel it, you notice it, you go into stores and everybody has on their Choctaw Yellow Jacket gear. And again, that's one thing I give Coach credit for. He's visible. He understands that you have to make relationships and connections with the younger kids, and him and his staff have done a great job with that. 6A football is a numbers game. You have to have depth. You have to have a lot of kids if you're going to compete in a long season with injuries. And they've just done a great job of getting our numbers up in the program, building relationships with kids, retaining kids. And so the thing I've noticed is just a incredible enthusiasm for our football program right now, and Coach Corbin and his staff deserve credit for that. They know how to build relationships and know how to build a program, and it shows. We will have a absolutely standing room only crowd Friday night for homecoming. Yeah. It's and as you can see, a lot of times when we go on the road, we have as many people there in our visiting stands as the home team does. So that's just a tribute to what they're doing with this program. Yeah,
Mr. Reid, anything anyone?
Well, sure. I'll build on what Dr. McCharen said. The enthusiasm that our coaching staff displays with their players. I'm a huge OU fan, and Coach Manning is on Twitter all the time, and it's like we need one of our coaches to do that, but they're doing that on the sideline. You see the relationship that they've built with their players. And our players are ready to run through a brick wall for our coaches. And more than anything, this year, what I see on the field is overall team speed. We are a lot faster than I think we've been in the past. And that really helps on some of those dynamic plays that Coach Corbin was talking about.
Absolutely it does. Yeah, absolutely it does. And I appreciate the kind words, and I'll brag on our coaching staff for a little bit. As you mentioned, we try to get guys that love kids first. And that's first and foremost. And you can be the best football coach in the world, but if you can't build relationships and that kid doesn't trust you, you're not going to last very long in this business. And so, all of our coaches do such an excellent job of building relationships. They love our kids, and our kids love them. And it's always fun to be around people like that, and it's a lot of fun. And I also want to credit, our youth program. Aaron McConnell runs our INFC and does a tremendous job, and it's so much fun to me to go out on Saturday morning and watch our kids play, and they're all Choctaw Yellow Jackets. They all have the gold helmets like we do. Their coaching staff's going to have gold standard on their sleeve, on their polo. Our coaches do a great job. We have clinics with those guys. We meet with those guys. They run our plays. They run our offense. They run our defense with our terminology, and it's a lot of fun. You know, and our goal, as we mentioned before when we came in here, is I want to know every single kid that plays football in this town from first grade, on up. And we're pretty close to doing that, and want those kids to feel, welcome and be excited to be a part of the program in the future. We've been able to do that, and it's so much fun to kind of watch that continue to build and see where that takes us in the future.
Nice. Yeah. So we got homecoming festivities kicking stuff off. Is it 6:30? Is that when the homecoming court goes out?
Yes.
Okay. So 6:30. We'll be live. Tune in there as well. We just want to pose our last question. We talked about it earlier on our podcast. Is what sports team would you want to play for, and what position would you play? So for me, it was the 1992 Olympic Dream Team. I was a shooting guard because nobody's going to guard me because they're all worried about everybody else. So I'll get a few shots off, and I could play defense back in 92. Probably couldn't do it today, but 92 I was 19, so I could move, and I'm sure with those 70-point victories, I would have been fine. So what team would you have wanted to play for, and what position?
Yeah, it's a kind of interesting answer. When I was a kid, I kind of grew up a Buffalo Bills fan, believe it or not. And, they, as you guys probably know, lost, 4 Super Bowls in a row. And, I've never liked things easy. And, I'd like to be on that team because the resilience of them just to continue to come back and fight every week, and had some great characters on that team. Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas. Yeah. Don Beebe, et cetera. And it's just it's a really fun team to watch. And, it's easy to say that you'd, be on a team that won all the time and it was easy. But I think that's really neat that those guys were able to come back, year after year after year. Yeah. And my favorite game they played was the AFC Championship against the Oilers, where they were down by 35-7 at halftime or something, and came back. And I still remember that game pretty vividly. And you learn some lessons as a young kid where you're kind of like just you're never out of it. You're never ever out of it. And I've been able to kind of carry that over with me in life, and it is a fun team to watch.
Seems like you should have asked to be the kicker on that team, Coach. Maybe that could have changed their fate a little bit.
I don't wish that on anybody to be to be that guy. So.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Okay, so Buffalo Bills. Dr. McCharen?
That's an easy one. Oakland Raiders, defensive back in the teams of the 70s, 80s. I've always admired kind of the pirate philosophy of the Raiders. They're a pirate on the helmet. They're black and silver uniforms. The physicality of how they play. They intimidated other teams. So I would love to have been a defensive back with the Raiders and just unleashed on everybody like the Raiders did. So
this is before they outlawed helmet to helmet.
That's right. That would have been tough to play in that era. Yes. But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, gotta go with the Raiders.
Yeah, nice. All right, Mr. Reid.
Well, again, lifelong Sooners, so my wheelhouse would have been either the 85 or 2000 national championship season. So I could have been Jamel Holloway at quarterback or Josh Holloway. That would have been my dream right there. Yeah. Love the Sooners, and who could beat playing quarterback?
Yeah,
I'm going to pick a winner, Coach. I'm not going to go with that.
And I was almost going with that team because I would have liked to have been on that 85 with Brian Bosworth.
Correct.
Just celebrate plays after he did some work, and you'd just be the weak side and just let him go to work and just be like, all right, yeah, I'm with you.
The 2000 team to me was so interesting too because they weren't the most talented team.
Correct.
And they had a bunch of kids that just worked really, really hard. And I remember that was probably one of my favorite teams too in college watching, just because you just had so much respect for those guys. I thought they played together as a team. So
a lot of starters that were walk-ons that year,
and a lot of toughness, and a lot of Oklahoma kids.
Tons of them.
It was full of Oklahoma kids, and they were a lot of fun to watch. And that was a really, really fun team.
Yeah. All right, so that'll do it for here. 6:30. It's probably going to be packed. You might want to get there even earlier than that. So we'll see you tonight at the game.